a beautiful thing.
It really is. Over the last 8 games, my Laser Cole Wiley has found her superpower. What is that superpower? But it's her speed. She has not only got to the rim, but finished. Over those last 8 games, she's shooting 60%. She had 24 coming out of Vanderbilt, and expecting her to have a big game today.
Yeah, that tied her career high, those 24 points. Last week, 39 points in 39 minutes, shot over 60% from the field. Well, they're facing a scrappy Ole Miss Rebels team who's led by Madison Scott, who has been in Oxford for about 95 years at this point, all 5 years of her career.
Well, once Madison Scott came to Ole Miss, well, she just started her career as a freshman, being SEC Freshman of the Year, and she has not taken her foot off the gas. She has played in more games in a Rebels uniform than anybody else that has played here at Ole Miss. And she brings the heart. She brings the energy. She brings the emotion to the floor for the Rebels, and she's going to need to bring a lot of that tonight against South Carolina.
Yeah, her head coach, Coach Yo, told us she has got to be aggressive tonight. They need her to set the tone in that area, facing a top 10 team.
It's time for Rebel basketball.
Ole Miss wins the tip, and Star Jacobs has not lost a tip battle this season.
She is such a quick jumper. She is so athletic. She's got the basketball right now.
But turns it over to the hands of Raven Johnson. Over to Tahina Paopao.
It's going to be interesting. How patient can South Carolina be with the aggressive defense, man-to-man pressure defense from Ole Miss?
Yeah, what's the approach you want to have going against this Ole Miss team who prides itself on its defense?
Look, when you are going against a team that is tough defensively, you want to get to your second and third action and make them have to defend in the clock.
Sanaya Fagan with the bucket. Ole Miss, an experienced starting group. Look at the ages of the 5 starters tonight. First time, by the way, we've seen the starting 5.
Well, not what Coach Yo wanted to bring to the floor was experience going against South Carolina, and she gets that with this lineup.
One of those key players in the lineup for Coach Yo tonight, Christine Iwala, so they add more of that size. Just her second start this season, the 4th start of her career.
Well, when you're playing against South Carolina, you have got to have somebody that has an inside presence, and Iwala brings that for the Rebels.
Shot by Star Jacobs is off. Here's South Carolina's starting 5. Interesting. These 5 set the tone for the Gamecocks, but their 2 leading scorers come off the bench. Wave off the bucket for Kids. She traveled.
Now, only one starter for South Carolina averages double figures, and that is Tahina Paopao.
They are first in the nation in bench points per game. Up and in for Tamia Sadler, the transfer from Colorado. And there's a delay of game warning for hitting the ball out on Ole Miss. So we mentioned it, South Carolina, according to the committee, a 2 seed as of their reveal tonight. So even more important for them to win out. But also, if they win out, they've got a chance at they at least have the regular share, If they win out, they get a share of the SEC regular season title, at least.
Well, with the reveal, it seems like those teams that are in 1 and 2 seeds usually have problems on that night. So it might be a blessing for South Carolina not to have been on that 1 line today.
South Carolina ran out of time, and Ole Miss had a chance to run, but out of bounds off of Madison Scott. Well, Dawn Staley, 6 straight 25-win seasons, her 13th one of those at South Carolina. They've also had 14 wins by 30 or more points this season. Back the other way for Ole Miss, a steal. Star Jacobs trying to battle against Kitts, can't finish. And Sanaya Fagan comes out with it. Up ahead to Paopao.
Against this pressure defense, you have to play with composure.
Paopao getting the screen from Kitts, driving in past 2 defenders. Chloe Kitts is there for the second chance points.
The offensive glass, that has been the mainstay for Dawn Staley coach teams.
South Carolina program, 15th in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. Their second chance points, 9th in the nation. They average 18 a game. Kennedy Todd Williams on the floor, jump ball, and it's going to be South Carolina basketball. When it comes to the NCAA tournament, Charlie Cream has this Ole Miss team in as a 5 seed. They're seeking their 4th straight 10-win SEC season. They're 9-5 right now. They're just on the outside of being one of those top 16 seeds. Charlie Cream has them as number 17. It's important to be a top 16 because you can host first and second rounds.
Absolutely, and being able to start the tournament at home. Oh, great cut by Raven Johnson.
Right to the basket.
That's how you relieve pressure. Backdoor cuts, back screens, getting something to the rim.
Sierra Chinu, the pass inside to Iwala. And stopped by Fagan. Fagan can't finish underneath. Let's go back to the bucket.
Points in the paint, so important for South Carolina, and the cuts, timing by Raven Johnson, perfect.
So Raven Johnson to inbound now. All 6 of South Carolina's points have come in the paint. Wow, Ole Miss defense is not making it easy.
No, and the thing about the defense from Ole Miss is watch how they play with 2 high hands. They're always extending their closeout, and that's what Coach Yo wants from her team. Take away the vision of what the ball sees.
So now Scott setting things up here. Star Jacobs trying to get around Chloe Kitts. Kitts with some nice defense down low.
It's been really tough for Ole Miss to find scoring opportunities. We talk so much about Ole Miss's defense. Well, South Carolina brings it as well.
Ole Miss just 1 for 5 from the field on the other end. South Carolina down here 3 for 7. More points in the paint. Sanaya Fagan. All 8 of their points have come in the paint.
Now, South Carolina averages almost 42 points in the paint.
Carissa Richardson, top of the game for a team that does not shoot and hit the 3 very often.
Well, because it's been so tough to get the ball inside, Ole Miss has got to make some jump shots.
And South Carolina responds.
Last 5 games, Tahina Paopao has shot almost 44% from 3.
KK Deans back to Madison Scott, inside to Stark. Ole Miss sharing the basketball. Richardson in trouble, short on the fadeaway. Madison Scott out with the rebound. Paopao trying to get past KK Deans. Kitts turns around, in and out. Sanaya Fagan scrambling for it, puts it up and in.
Sanaya Fagan, I think, is going to be key for the run of South Carolina in the postseason. She's got to be a dominant and aggressive center inside.
First season as a starter, a role, a big load that she has had to carry, not just on the court, but mentally for this team.
Yeah, she'd play behind, remember Aaliyah Boston, Camila Cardoso?
Yeah.
I mean, now she's in that role. I think she has been a little careful trying to not get into foul trouble, but she's got to be that aggressive self that she was midway through the season.
Paopao trying to get some space. Almost traveled. Bree Hall.
Whoa.
Stopped by Richardson. Up ahead, Chinu. The freshman scores. Sierra Chinu out of volley.
Coach O told us this morning and told her team, she said, do not allow South Carolina to be relaxed. Make them uncomfortable.
Pick and roll Kits. Kits and Fagan, though, are finding each other right now.
Well, offensive glass, second chance opportunities have been big for South Carolina. But Tahina Paopao opening things up by lining up to dot it up from the three-point line. But you can't celebrate too much when you're playing the Ole Miss Rebels, because immediately they're going to try to get back to the other end, running in transition. We're in for a good one here in Oxford.
I have 10 years of experience.
This job requires a college degree. Any degree. Any degree. Just
Indeed matches you with jobs.
Let them know we on the way. The SEC Women's Basketball Tournament begins Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern on SEC Network. Tickets on sale now at secsports.com.
South Carolina making some substitutions. Their depth, their bench is such an important piece of what they do. The last two games, look at the bench scoring compared to their opponent's starters.
Well, and as good as the production offensively has been for South Carolina, I want to keep an eye on that they are up 6 right now. When you put Malaysia Fulwiley and Joyce Edwards on the floor, it seems like that lead could possibly grow.
Yeah, when those two are on the floor, South Carolina's outscoring its opponents by 164 points. That's a freshman and a sophomore.
Future's bright in Columbia.
Yeah, Joyce Edwards 8 in black, Malaysia Fulwiley 12 in the black jersey. Sierra Chinu and the turnover. Yeah, South Carolina's bench outscoring its starters. The only Division I team with a bench averaging more points than its starters.
That's just a sign of the amount of talent that Dawn Staley has on this team.
Joyce Edwards trying to go right at Iwala, and Iwala takes it away from her.
And Tessa Johnson got in there for the jump ball.
Possession arrow is going to go to the Rebels. Kennedy Todd Williams will run the point now for Ole Miss. Madison Scott free throw line just short. Iwala rebound, no.
Just not able to finish inside. That's just focus. And you got to slow down a little bit once you get inside.
Tessa Johnson wide open lane to the hoop.
Playing with pace. That's how the Gamecocks like to play.
They like to go in transition too. And that's going to be a foul against KK Deans.
Pushing in transition and a little stop and go by Tessa Johnson to get the easy two.
You know, when watching South Carolina, we've talked about this. When their defense is clicking, like when they're forcing turnovers, it really fuels their offense.
Well, I think that it allows you to play more free on the offensive end when your defense is getting what you want, because you're taking shots confidently instead of under pressure. And I think that you build your trust on the defensive end with your teammates. Yeah, you trust your teammates on the defensive end. When players are playing, you know that they've got your back. You also carry that trust over on the offensive end.
Tamia Sadler. Iwala, 2 offensive rebounds on this possession. Chinu in the corner. Ole Miss has already hit 2 3-pointers tonight. A team that usually shoots only 30% from 3.
But Sierra Chinu is a freshman you need to keep an eye on, because she can get hot from that 3-point line.
And also watch her defense. It's pretty dang good.
Well, she's so long, quick, and anticipates so well.
Chinu has scored the last 7 points for Ole Miss. She's number 0 in white, bottom of your screen. 10 seconds here for the Rebels. Sadler. Kennedy Todd Williams at the SEC logo. They call her Toddy. Now, South Carolina can take the last shot of the quarter.
Look for ball screen action. And does Malaysia Fulwiley go to her superpower?
She loves the countdown clock. Fade away. Foul on the floor against Sierra Chinu, her first. 1.4 showing on the clock, so time to catch and shoot. Raymond Johnson will check in inbound for the Gamecocks.
Got Fulwiley wide open at the bottom of your screen.
They try to go to Kitts. South Carolina, 16 of their 19 points in the paint in the first 10 minutes. They're up after the first quarter. Up right now. South Carolina and Texas at the top of the SEC standings, both 13-1. They split their regular season meetings. So if both of these teams are to win out, it would come down to a coin flip by the commissioner, Greg Sankey, to determine who is the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. And in case you were wondering, they do have a coin ready to go, and we actually have a photo of the coin. One side has the Longhorn, one side has the Gamecock logo on it. But this is really interesting, and Dawn Staley had some comments about this yesterday in her press conference. Important to know, it's not going to change this season.
Well, and I understand their frustration because I think that your season boils down to just the flip of a coin with two teams that have played the same schedule. They played each other twice. Texas and South Carolina played each other, and they split there. But that's where Don said the fate is in a coin toss. And I think that moving forward, they can look at maybe point differential or total points scored in a season or total points given up, but something of a measurement as opposed to the flipping of a coin.
And point differential being in those two meetings where Texas and South Carolina played each other. Now, keep in mind, if they win out, if both Texas and South Carolina win out, they would be co-SEC regular season champs. That's not what the coin flip is for. It's for the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament, which may become even more important now because, especially for South Carolina, who the NCAA selection committee today had as a 2 seed, not a 1 seed.
Well, and in the SEC tournament too, when you're playing in that early slot, you get more rest time. You get more preparation time as you move from Friday, Saturday to Sunday.
But still, before we can get to a coin flip, you got to take care of business.
Well, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, South Carolina playing Ole Miss here, and then we'll finish the regular season against Kentucky on Sunday.
Man, Kentucky not look good today against Tennessee.
Yeah, beat them 82-58. The Tennessee team, who's one of the top teams in scoring in the nation, only 58 points tonight.
As you get close to the postseason, that's when Kenny Brooks really starts cooking things up with his team. He did that at Virginia Tech, and it looks like he's doing the same thing at Kentucky.
Kennedy Todd Williams hits the free throw. Kenny Brooks took Virginia Tech to the Final Four in 2023. And that's going to be a foul against Kennedy Todd Williams as Ole Miss applying pressure.
Well, when you bring out a press, it's a cardinal sin. The last thing you want to do is foul. You're just either trying to get a steal or you're trying to take time off the clock.
Tessa Johnson, short on the lay-in, going the other way towards Ole Miss. That'll be the first against Joyce Edwards, the freshman for South Carolina.
Yeah, Carissa Richardson has brought tremendous energy to the floor for the Rebels, number 33 in white.
Here she is. Dump off to Star Jacobs. Nice awareness of where her teammates were.
The connection those two have, and you'll see in the Ole Miss offense getting to a lot of high-low situations.
19 all. South Carolina has not scored here in the second quarter. Chinu too much. Got the board, got the bucket. Sarah Chinu, first lead for Ole Miss.
The temperature has turned up for the Ole Miss Rebels.
7 straight to start the second quarter for the Rebels. Seven seconds. Fagan. Rebels on the run. Sarah Chinu. Back to back for the freshman. Full Wiley in and out. This will stay with South Carolina, but Ole Miss really affecting them right now.
One thing that South Carolina was concerned with, when you have to take ill-advised shots, that will lead to the transition for Ole Miss. You don't have time to get your defense set back, and Ole Miss taking full advantage running the floor.
Ole Miss 9 points here in the second quarter. South Carolina none. Chinu with 11.
Now understand, Sarah Chinu is a freshman, but she's 21 years old, so she comes to the court with a lot of maturity.
Now she came to the States at 18 years old to go to high school from Mali. And Sanaya Fagan battling through contact. She gets those 2 points and will have a chance at a 3-point play.
10 points for Sanaya Fagan, and she really has battled on the glass, getting those second chance cleanup opportunities.
9th time this season that Sanaya Fagan is in double figures. 3-point play.
I think that Sanaya Fagan is understanding the clock is ticking. This is the end of her college career, could be winding down, and so she is turning things up.
Carissa Richardson. Blocked from behind by Kitts. Johnson back to Fagan in the short corner. Feeling it.
That's what I talked about. Going against tough defense, get to your second and your third option. Then your shooters are shooting in rhythm.
Chinu steps back. Made that look easy. 13. Blocking foul on KK Deans as Mylasia Fulwiley was going down the court. That's going to be her second. Well, Sunday on ESPN, the College Game Day crew will be in South Bend, Indiana at 11 a.m. Eastern to get you set for the last day of the regular season. Our doubleheader has number 3 Notre Dame hosting number 25 Louisville at noon, followed by 15th ranked Kentucky and number 6 South Carolina. Now, the selection committee had Notre Dame grabbing that last number 1 seed based on the fact that South Carolina had lost to UConn. Notre Dame was able to beat UConn earlier in the season.
And Notre Dame's in a world of hurt right now. Florida State is up 10 on the Irish right now.
Man, this is the best time of year, right? I mean,
know.
We are leading into March. Wild things are happening.
Like, we're calling a great game that we're watching right here, and then got to keep an eye on the scoreboard because things are happening all across the country.
Just wait till we get to the NCAA tournament.
I know, man.
Ooh.
Well, the SEC tournament.
Yes, all the conference tournaments, Champ Week, so fun.
Oh,
Star Jacobs misses from the free throw line. one of two. South Carolina breaking the pressure. They've been outscored 12-5 here in the second quarter.
South Carolina has got to be patient, disciplined, and take the shots they want, not the shots Ole Miss allows them to have. Oh, good post feed.
Kits got free, shook off the defense. "20 paint points for South Carolina. Kennedy Todd Williams, no. In and out for Pow Pow.
Sanaya Fagan has really stepped up tonight. Got a mismatch inside. Sadler on Fagan.
Star Jacob swipe that ball.
The defensive pressure from Ole Miss is what has gotten them back in this ball game. That's why we're all knotted up at 26. It's a good one. I think that Drea, in talking about teams playing with desperation, I think that's what's happening tonight. And when Rebecca Lobo talks about the grind, like, you have to keep your team locked in and focused to finish. There'll be an excitement when tournament starts, but you've got to finish the regular season first.
At the buzzer, Bree Hall has to let it go. What is Ole Miss doing to South Carolina right now that stands out the most?
Well, I think that they are more connected defensively, and South Carolina's, I think a lot of it too is self-inflicted. They're not getting into their offense quick enough. They're not as sharp in their offensive execution.
Jacob stopped by Fagan, and then Kits comes out with it. Sanaya Fagan is just doing work. She's 1 point away from tying her career high.
I think the key to your offense is you've got to have that anchor inside for South Carolina, and Fagan is doing that well.
She's 7 of 9 from the field. The rest of the team, 6 for 24. Sadler, Madison Scott made it look so effortless.
She's got a very pretty mid-range jumper. I just don't think Scott's aggressive enough on the offensive side of the ball.
Fuliley answers.
Here we go. We're going to have a shootout.
Chino guarded by Bree Hall. Scott had a long time to think about that one.
And I think when you think that long, not in rhythm, that just makes it tough on yourself.
Scott with the block. KK Deans in transition. Running Rebels. They are 3 of 5 from behind the arc.
KK Deans released that and headed the other direction. She knew that was good.
Well, Ole Miss almost had a turnover. Five seconds for Pow Pow. She can't shake Scott. And South Carolina ran out of time. Look at the defense.
Madison Scott with the block and then headed quickly the other end. And KK Deans lines it up, heads the other way before it goes through. She knew that was good, and Coach Yo was loving it.
4 ties, 5 lead changes here in this game, just in the first half.
One of the things that Coach O talked about this morning is she heard Don Staley's press conference talking about thought Ole Miss was small. Well, they've got big guards, and that makes them so tough on the defensive end.
She also added a little height to her starting lineup, starting Christine Walla for just the second time this season. South Carolina 38% from the field right now.
But look, it's already 16 seconds before South Carolina could get into their offense, but Chloe Kitts is able to knock it down.
That's her 5th three-pointer this season. South Carolina's 2 for 2 from 3. Sadler, rimmed out. Ole Miss will have another chance.
Oh!
Malaysia can use her superpower, its speed. Offensive foul against Chloe Kitts. KK Deans got their established legal guard in position and took the charge.
With the morning that KK Deans had at shoot around, Coach O had several conversations with her. This player got the assignment. She has brought it tonight, been that spark off the bench for the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah, Coach O coaching her hard in shoot around this morning. KK Dean's responding tonight. Scott got tripped up, and they're going to whistle Joyce Edwards for her second.
Joyce Edwards, that's her second personal foul. Team foul number 5 on South Carolina. Rebels are in bonus.
So Madison Scott, the 5th-year player, all 5 seasons in Oxford for the Ole Miss Rebels at the free throw line. Over 1,500 points, over 1,000 rebounds in her career. Has played in more games for the Ole Miss Rebels than any other player. Sinks the first. Sunday, last day of the SEC regular season, positioning for the conference tournament at stake on SEC Network. Lady Vols hosting Georgia at noon, and then Florida takes on number 1 Texas. We cap the afternoon with number 7 LSU hosting Ole Miss in Baton Rouge. Important to note, if we need a coin flip to decide the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament, it would be during that LSU-Ole Miss game. That's if South Carolina and Texas both win out.
Wow. Texas had a little scare earlier today. Mississippi State took him to the wire. Texas was able to pull that off. And South Carolina is not having an easy walk in the park here in Oxford.
Sanaya Fagan has been the bright spot for South Carolina. And she just tied her career high with 16 points.
I think that she got into foul trouble, I believe, the Connecticut game, and I think she was playing a little conservative. I think she has freed her mind and has brought that aggressive nature back. There it is with that block.
The stop of Chinu under the basket. This will be South Carolina ball, 27 seconds left in the half.
Look at Fagan. She said, give me that.
30-second timeout.
So timeout called. We step aside for 30 seconds. 1-point ball game. 2 players in double figures in this game, 1 on each side. South Carolina's got Sanaya Fagan with 16 points. And on the Ole Miss side, it's the freshman Sierra Chinu with 13.
And both of them extremely efficient.
Gamecocks still plenty of time. Maddie McDaniel, the freshman point guard, in to run things.
I think
Yes.
that should be good.
Yes, it is. Count the bucket for Maddie McDaniel and get her to the free throw line.
Yeah, Don Staley out of the timeout. put the ball in the hands of the freshman. As the shot clock was running down, she not only got the 2, but getting a freebie.
3 points. Chinu heats from half court. And Ole Miss, no field goals in the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the half. Look at South Carolina. Usually they thrive from the bench. There's 7 bench points tonight, but they got the lead at the half. This is a good one. Let's get you to Shay and company in the studio. For Sanaya Fagan, 16 points, ties her career high, 7 of 9 from the field. Plus, she's got 5 rebounds to go.
I think that what is key for South Carolina is that they can get the ball in the paint. They've got to shoot a high percentage inside, and it starts with Sanaya Fagan having a huge presence.
What did you like from Ole Miss?
Well, Ole Miss's defense and the freshman, Sirachinu, came in and was a bright spot, producing bench points for Ole Miss.
Chinu, more points off the bench than South Carolina, who is number 1 in the nation in bench points per game. Just 7 in the first half, the fewest in a half this season. Madison Scott off. And South Carolina basketball.
Now, Ole Miss has extended pressure, trying to allow South Carolina less time on the clock for them to get into their offense.
Pow. And South Carolina was 2 for 2 from three-point land. Well, we saw the top 16 reveal earlier tonight. South Carolina, according to the committee, entering today is a 2 seed, but we just saw Florida State beat Notre Dame, who was a 1 seed.
That could open the door for South Carolina if they take care of business tonight here in Oxford.
If they win tonight and they win Sunday, they get at least a share of the SEC regular season title. Ole Miss has something to say about that. Christine Iwala, who started her 2nd game of the season this evening.
Coach Yo had a lot of confidence in number 12 in white. Iwala, because of the presence that she could have inside.
Coach Yo told us, too, she loves to coach her. She's so fun.
Oh, she said that she gets the assignment and carries it through. She said she can coach her hard, and she welcomes it.
Pow running the baseline, running out of time. Now she's stuck underneath the basket. And that's going to be a shot clock violation.
Pow's done this a couple of times. She's got to probe in the lane, and if she doesn't have anything, keep her dribble out, and then allow her bigs to post up.
Ole Miss trailing by 2. We've had 5 ties and 6 lead changes in this ball game tonight. And South Carolina's making it tough in the paint. This is going to stay with the Rebels.
Well, because Ole Miss tries to get into a high-low situation, leaving blocks available also for the drive.
Sirachinu. And Tamia Sadler will come get it. 6 seconds.
And Waller making a big presence with the duck in inside.
Chinu too much, and Chloe Kitts with her 8th rebound.
You can just see all season long, Chloe Kitts, the work that she has put on in the weight room has paid off.
Allowing her to do things just like that.
Last year, a play like that, Chloe Kitts probably ended up on the floor. Not today. She can stay on 2, taking off on 2 feet and getting the finish.
Can I read you her stat line right now?
Let's go.
11 points, 8 rebounds, a career high 6 assists.
Triple-double watch.
Ooh. Three-point play for Chloe Kitts.
thing that is so dangerous about Ole Miss is that they have players that can take you off the bounce. They're really going to challenge you defensively.
Here's Tamia Sadler spinning and out of bounds off of South Carolina. So Ole Miss gets another chance.
Remember Ole Miss in the USC game to start this season, the executions, and watch her and shoot around today, put different players in different positions with different groups to take away the anxiety of execution on plays that really are going to matter. That wasn't a good one.
Intercepted by Kitts. And back to the free throw line for Chloe Kitts as Star Jacobs whistle for the foul. That's her first.
The jump that Chloe Kitts has made from her freshman year to this year has been huge for South Carolina.
Well, it's interesting. Last year was her first full season. Remember, in 2023, she joined the team in December and elected to play a half year, lose that eligibility. But that really paid off the following year. I mean, Dawn Staley talked about she wouldn't have been in the starting lineup last season had she not come in and gotten that experience with the team.
You just see the confidence that Chloe Kitts plays with. And she's that stretch four. She can shoot it. She's now stronger.
Oh, Sanaya Fagan with another block and a little face at the end, too. I love it. Raven Johnson pull up at the elbow. And Coach Yo calls timeout. 7-0 run Gamecocks.
Sanaya Fagan has understood the assignment. She got to be the anchor on the defensive end, and when she gets stops like that, it allows South Carolina to get out to the races and get two in transition.
Carolina as a 2 seed.
Look, there have only been 4 teams that have had 5 consecutive seasons where they were number 1 seeds. It was UConn, Tennessee, Notre Dame, and Connecticut. This could be the 5th 1 seed for South Carolina if they are able to move up to that 1 line.
They've been a number 1 seed in the last 4 NCAA tournaments. South Carolina's got to handle business now. They're in a flow here on a 7-0 run. Ole Miss hasn't scored in over 2 minutes. Richardson. Oh! Free throw on the way. Count that bucket. She's fouled by Tessa Johnson. She was a spark in the first half.
Carissa Richardson has had a huge presence. This is a player that plays with confidence. She was big for Ole Miss last season. More limited this year, but showing up when Ole Miss has needed her the most.
Started her career at Auburn. Three-point play for Richardson.
And Richardson has the assignment of checking Sanaya Fagan in the paint.
Easier said than done. Fagan's already got a career high, but she has not scored yet in the second half. 5 seconds. Fagan flashing the free throw line and just missed Chloe Kitts under the basket.
Yeah, needed to put a little more air on that pass or look for her shot first. Fagan can shoot it from that elbow area.
9 turnovers for South Carolina. They average 12 a game. And Chinu just got tripped up and turned the ball over.
I think it's time for Sanaya Fagan to get a touch.
Kitts in the high post. Looking for Fagan. Just missed her. Iwala.
Oh, that was going to be a big move.
Both teams searching for buckets right now. Seven seconds. Tessa Johnson. No.
Now that's what Ole Miss is looking to do defensively. Make South Carolina make tough twos.
Back inside to Iwala. She's had 2 good looks in a row.
Oh, she's just not able to finish.
We got some defenses showing out right here.
That's what it comes down to this time of the season.
South Carolina hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes. Fagan ends the scoring drought. Chloe Kitts now 7 assists, a new career high.
She only needs 1 rebound to get to double digits and 3 more assists to hit that triple-double.
They covered up Kennedy Todd Williams. And Chloe Kitts toes on the line. We step aside. South Carolina up 46-38 here in the third quarter.
College game day is rolling.
We out here.
Big three.
We're bringing the energy. Plenty of hoop knowledge.
And a whole lot of fun. College game day live from South Bend, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
All right, trainees, let's say Glenn is a customer.
I'm a customer in this scenario.
What do we do?
Protect what's important to him.
And how do we do this?
We help with car.
Home. Carolina has taken control, and a lot of it has to do with Chloe Kitts entering the conversation. We are on triple-double watch. She has 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Number 21 in black is making her presence felt.
Pat, don't forget 4 steals.
That's the whole kit and caboodle.
Stop. Both those assists and steals numbers are career highs for Chloe Kitts. And South Carolina being pushed on the road by this Ole Miss team. 5 ties, 6 lead changes. But right now, Ole Miss hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes.
Ole Miss is going to have to start creating some of their offense off the defense. Get back to making South Carolina take tough twos.
Joyce Edwards, stopped by Iwala, got it back. And the foul against Madison Scott. First second.
Joyce Edwards is yet to get in the scoring column for South Carolina.
Joyce Edwards is South Carolina's leading scorer. Their second leading scorer is Mylasia Full-Wiley, and she has 2 points. Usually it's South Carolina's bench that is their strength. Not today.
They've just got so many weapons on any given night. Anybody can step up. Chloe Kitts and Sanaya Fagan have been huge today.
5 seconds. Ole Miss has forced them late in shot clocks tonight, and there's Joyce Edwards in the scoring column.
You knew it was only going to be a matter of time before number 8 gets going.
3.5 minute scoring drought for Ole Miss.
But Ole Miss is going with their 2 bigs.
Here's Iwala. There it is. She's had a couple of looks underneath the basket, but couldn't finish them until that.
Well, because Iwala commands her space when she posts inside.
4 points, 5 rebounds. Tahina Pow. Really took a hard hit into the stanchion, but she's helped up by her teammates.
Justine Iwala, though, going right at Joyce Edwards, hard to the left, and the spin back to the right. She said, yeah, that's what I do.
It's a Hina Pau at the free throw line. Here's our college basketball Sonic Blockbuster Saturday on ABC. Janai Broom and number 1 Auburn in Lexington to take on number 17 Kentucky at Rupp. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern.
See if that tumble gets to Hina Pau going.
She's still rubbing her neck.
Now those 2 free throws put her at 5 points.
KK Deans has done that a couple of times. Let the 3 fly and then walked off like she knew it was going in, and Malaysia Fulwiley responds.
And she's going to have to keep up with KK Deans because number 1 in white can be a bucket for Ole Miss.
Deans gets free. Kitts with the rebound. She's got a double-double. Offensive foul on Joyce Edwards.
KK Deans, quick release from the 3. Malaysia Fulwiley late to get there, but it didn't take her long. Fulwiley got it back. 3 for the Gamecocks.
That was the 3rd foul whistled against Joyce Edwards on that last play. So she'll be replaced by Tessa Johnson.
Now South Carolina going with this small lineup. 4 guards on the floor surrounding Chloe Kitts inside.
And meanwhile, Ole Miss has their bigger lineup on the floor.
Well, that means that Bree Hall is going to have to take a big from Ole Miss.
She's got Iwala right now. Second opportunity, Sadler swoops in.
I think South Carolina went with the 4 guards because you got to switch on these screens, especially when KK Deans is coming off for the handoff.
Richardson relocates, no.
Tessa Johnson battled down low for the rebound.
Fulwiley stopped by Iwala.
With the bigs on the floor for Ole Miss, Constantly elects to put Sanaya Fagan back in the game.
Fagan set the tone in the first half for South Carolina, tied her career high in the first half. Now she's got a new one at 18 points tonight. Make it 20. And guess what? Tack on another assist for Chloe Kitts. 8 assists, 2 away from a triple-double. Chinu. Sierra Chinu, her first points of the second half. She had 13 in the first 20 minutes.
Well, Chinu, she's a tough matchup. She's 6 foot, a guard that can take you off the bounce, and you have to respect her from the 3-point line.
Ole Miss can take the last shot of the third quarter. Sadler. Iwala cleans it up. And Ole Miss gets a bucket before the buzzer. Chloe Kitts right now. Eyes on her stat line. 2 assists away from a triple-double. Kitts getting it done in all facets today. A full stat line for Chloe Kitts. Just 55 points so far.
Yeah, this is what I think down the stretch. Look at the turnover margin. +8 for Ole Miss, only +5 for South Carolina. Who can take care of the ball the best in this fourth quarter? Because this is when Ole Miss will turn up their defensive pressure.
South Carolina, 11 turnovers, Ole Miss 10. And Chloe Kitts 2 assists away from a triple-double. 16 points for Kitts.
In the battle for points in the paint, in that third quarter, it was only a 2-point difference. South Carolina had 10 and Ole Miss with 8.
Madison Scott stopped. Kennedy Todd Williams in trouble too. Back to Scott. 5 seconds. Todd Williams shakes free. She's got 7.
How long will Coach Yo hold KK Deans? She has been instant offense when she's come in the game. That's a 3-point threat for the Rebels.
Rebound for Christine Walla.
Watch Iwala on the backside, number 12. She can give you a big duck in.
She's trying to post up Kitts. Madison Scott was trying to post up Raven Johnson. That didn't happen.
I think you got to go to Iwala down low instead of Madison Scott. Iwala has been a nightmare for the Gamecocks.
Fagan trying to get past Iwala. Patience, didn't rush it.
That is the mid-season Sanaya Fagan that the Gamecocks have seen. And she is aggressive, she is wanting the ball, and she is finishing inside.
Sadler right down the middle. I think this is one of the best games Sanaya Fagan has had. Bree Hall in transition. So Ole Miss did call timeout. All right, so we step aside. South Carolina on top, 61-49 here in the fourth quarter. So it was not a team called timeout. It was an official timeout to review the last play. And they looked at this and just ruled it some incidental contact between Tamia Sadler and Chloe Kitts as they were going up for the rebound.
Yeah, it was just incidental contact right there, so they play on. But Ole Miss now has put KK Deans back in the game.
Here she goes. Joyce Edwards with the rebound. Chloe Kitts with the defense. She is 1 assist away from a triple-double. Pow, pow. Chinu. Turnover. Bree Hall lay in. South Carolina has outscored Ole Miss 8-2 here in the fourth quarter. Remember, if South Carolina wins out, they get at least a portion of the regular season SEC title.
Yeah, South Carolina is playing, and I think in the back of their minds, they're thinking, got to keep winning because Texas is right there.
Iwala left it short, and the second chance stopped by Raven Johnson.
Raven Johnson, I don't think that she knows she's a guard. She gets inside and is not afraid to mix it up inside. She gets the block there on Iwala.
KK Deans catch and shoot, tried to bank it in. And that's going to be South Carolina basketball. What's been different for South Carolina in the second half?
I think that they have battled inside. They've slowed down where Ole Miss was getting success inside, going in the paint, and then they've been able to get out in transition.
Joyce Edwards in traffic and a foul underneath. That's on Carissa Richardson of Ole Miss. Her second.
It's the postgame, too, for South Carolina has stepped up big. We talked about Sanaya Fagan and what Chloe Kitts is doing. Joyce Edwards got off to a slow start, but she has gotten into the battle inside.
Chloe gets it, Dawn Staley. She looked over at the bench and said, I need 2 assists. Dawn said 1. She goes, are you sure?
They're on stat watch.
Joyce Edwards gets both free throws. 8-0 run for South Carolina. Ole Miss hasn't scored in 3 minutes.
And the bigs for the Ole Miss has not gotten a touch.
Kennedy Todd Williams stolen away by Pow Pow. And this last touch by Ole Miss, so it'll stay with South Carolina.
With South Carolina, they have turned, they've hit the gas. They are looking to run every opportunity that they can.
And Chloe Kitts on triple-double watch, 1 assist away. Oh, and KK Dean's trying to swipe the basketball from her. She does.
Well, Raven Johnson with the hustle to get back to break up the fast break.
Sadler on the inbound for the Rebels. An offensive foul against Carissa Richardson taken by Bree Hall. That's the 3rd on Richardson.
The rotation defensively was perfect. Off that curl screen, Bree Hall gave up her person to get over, get 2 feet down, and draw the charge.
They're going to let Kitts set this up, needing 1 assist for the triple-double. Can Joyce Edwards help her? No! And she threw her hands up in the air. Kennedy Todd Williams, other end. Blocking foul on KK Deans.
But man, it violates a full Wiley fast.
That's what Dawn Staley calls her superpower.
I mean, that speed.
She's had a bit of a slower night tonight, though. 5 points, 2 of 7. She's trying.
Well, she's pushing the pace.
Yes.
The defense has got to run back, whether she scores it or not. When she comes in, she keeps the pressure on the defense.
Two free throws good for Full Wiley. Under 5 to play.
Now, Ole Miss has got to get touch for Richardson inside.
That's number 33. Madison Scott short. And Kitts travel.
We got the best seat because we can sit here and watch the South Carolina coaching staff as they communicate with Dawn. Everybody for South Carolina is aware that Chloe Kitts is 1 assist away from that triple-double.
This KK Dean's a little step back. Oh, bank shot for KK. And South Carolina will call timeout. 4:03 showing on the clock. Gamecocks have outscored Ole Miss 12-6, but South Carolina hasn't had a field goal in 3 minutes.
And I think that Ole Miss, relying on just jump shots where they were having so much success going inside, keeping the pressure on South Carolina, and South Carolina then pushing in transition, but their decision making down that stretch where they had gone through this drought, they've got to slow down a little bit. They've got to recognize, listen, you're in control, and yes, you want Chloe Kitts to get that triple-double, but the most important thing is you want to win this game.
Yeah. Chloe Kitts has had a full stat line. She needs one more assist for the triple-double. And she's been, as you say, sharing the sugar.
Look, this junior sees the floor so well. And she's a willing passer. Yes, she can score it, but she can deliver it as well. Fantastic night in moving the ball around.
And she's put in the extra effort to get her game here. Number 10, triple-double for Chloe Kitts.
She got the triple-double and looked at Dawn and said, okay, now I need to come out.
16 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. The first South Carolina triple-double since Aaliyah Boston did it against Georgia in 2021.
That's a beautiful delivery by Raven Johnson in transition.
Turnover. Number 15 by Ole Miss. Fuliley, catch and shoot midair. And now South Carolina cooking on the road.
You got to love being on the floor with Raven Johnson, because if you run the floor, she will reward you.
You remember watching her in high school, right?
Oh, my. Been watching her since she was about a freshman in high school for a long time. She has been a baller.
Iwala up and in. Now, both of these NCAA tournament teams well, Chloe Kitts, this assist to the freshman Joyce Edwards, her 10th, that completes the triple-double tonight for Chloe Kitts. And then she said, take me out, please.
She's earned that.
First triple-double for South Carolina since Aaliyah Boston in 2021 against Georgia. And by the way, the assist number and the steal number, both career highs tonight for her.
I think that for South Carolina, the production of their bigs that are in the starting lineup have been big. You had Chloe Kitts, who went to work. She got the triple-double. And then when you look at Tania Fagan, that added to that as well.
Well, coming up next was on SportsCenter with Amina Smith and Michael Eaves. They'll talk to the winning coach in this game, most likely Dawn Staley, plus the best from a great night of women's college hoops with 5 ranked versus ranked matchups. And the video you need to see when a golfer tames a gator. It's a heck of a tease right there. Ooh. There has been some wild women's basketball games tonight, though. Notre Dame going down to Florida State. Kentucky.
They just demolished the Lady Vols. Duke knocks off North Carolina. That's when things really get spicy into the regular season, going into the conference tournaments.
Joyce Edwards at the free throw line for South Carolina. You know, this time next week, the SEC tournament will be happening, Champ Week.
I cannot wait. And, you know, normally you think, okay, on the first days, the lower seed teams, games might be questionable. There are going to be some good games on Wednesday.
First time we'll play 4 games on Wednesday because the SEC's expanded, adding Oklahoma and Texas.
Well, right now, 10 teams in the SEC projected to make it on to the NCAA tournament.
Also right now, Alabama beating LSU in the 4th quarter.
Holy cow. And that's what Ole Miss went away from going to their post game, and that's when they were doing their most damage on South Carolina.
Wiley comes out with it. South Carolina, a fresh 20. And a foul on the floor after the shot goes up. There's a lot that can still happen. Texas and South Carolina. South Carolina hanging on here. They would both be 14-1 in the conference. If they both win out, they split the SEC regular season title, and Greg Sankey will flip a coin in his office to decide who gets the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament. That could be really important because that SEC tournament run could decide if you're a number 1 seed or not.
And it has a lot to do with really how you advance, who you're matched up with as you advance. You want to be the highest possible seed that you can be. Oh, man, Chino took a hard fall.
Fourth against Joyce Edwards. Speaking of the coin that they might need, they have one ready. We have a photo of it. One side Texas, one side South Carolina.
I mean, that was a quick decision. Once they made a decision that they were going to decide it with the flip of a coin.
Is that something you practice if you're Greg Sankey? Are you flipping a coin just to?
Well, yeah, because you want to get it right.
Flipped a coin?
I don't really carry change, so I can't flip my debit card.
Yeah. And again, this has been the rule for a long time now. They just haven't had to use it for a while.
Well, I mean, it was just the perfect storm of 2 top teams that were scheduled to play each other twice.
Yeah, in the SEC this year, because of the expansion, you played one opponent 2 times, and it happened that South Carolina and Texas played each other twice. This is only to decide the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament, not the SEC regular season champ. They would both get a share of that if they both win out.
But when you look at the weekend of the championship, if those teams were to advance, it's a time change. So you're going to lose an hour, right? And so with that, you want to have as much rest time from Saturday to playing in that championship game on Sunday.
If you're the number 1 seed, you get to play at noon. You get to play in the earlier games.
Right, and then you sit back and you watch to see who you're going to play. So you put your scouting report together. You know, you go to bed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
It does have its advantages.
So if that coin flip is needed, by the way, it would happen during the LSU Ole Miss game Sunday afternoon.
But look, South Carolina still has to play Kentucky on Sunday, and Kentucky is looking really good. Clara Strack was fantastic today for the Wildcats.
Richardson rolls it around. Shot clock still on. Ole Miss made it really difficult on South Carolina in the first half of this ball game. We saw the Gamecocks come out of the locker room and start to play like themselves again.
Well, Sanaya Fagan showed up big time. Chloe Kitts, the post-game win. The bench for South Carolina wasn't producing, the starters did.
South Carolina wins on the road 75-59. 9th triple-double in South Carolina history. Chloe Kitts, 16 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. Add in a nugget, career-high 4 steals.
Just an all-around game from Chloe Kitts, but also points in the paint, 46 for South Carolina, and Sanaya Fagan had 22 for the Gamecocks.
South Carolina 1 win away from at least a share of the SEC regular season title. They will try to do that on Sunday against Kentucky. Here in Oxford, they're victorious tonight, 75-59.
Show build this program over the last few years from the ground up. They're on the way of making their 4th straight NCAA tournament. I guess from your perspective, how close do you think Ole Miss is potentially making a deep tourney run, and do you see a little bit of what you built in South Carolina and what Yo has built here through her 6 years here?
I think she's well on her way. You know, I think she's making it more popular to come, and that's kind of, you know, where young people are these days. Is sexy to go to the, you know, the top elite programs in the country, because of whatever crowd, home court advantage, whether it's just popularity, whether it's you're on television a lot. But when you do it this way, it sustains itself because you know you're doing it just the old-fashioned way. You get kids to come here to buy in. You get families to come here and buy in to the good, the bad, and all what it takes to be successful as a program, as an individual, and as a young woman.
Fagan had 22 today, super efficient shooting. What was she doing, and maybe her teammates like Kits doing to set up that efficiency?
Well, I thought Fagan did a great job of just being at the right place at the right time with offensive rebounds, and then I thought we dumped it off to her a few times, and she just made layups. We've been harping on our players. If you just make layups, you know your scoring average can soar. But I thought she just was great. I mean, she hit some mid-range shots as well. She was just a senior out there, just knowing when to take her time and take the type of shot that she wants to take. When the rebound, the basketball, and then I thought she was great defending as well.
Big production from Ole Miss bench in the first half. You see a little bit of your same strategy from Coach Yo from that bench production?
Yeah, we don't. They outscored us from the bench perspective, and that doesn't happen very often. You know, I thought Joyce got hampered with some foul issues that, you know, usually she has a little bit better production than what she had today. But Coach Yo used all of her players today, and they all gave great contributions. You know, especially the ones that was coming off the bench. I thought, you know, Thino is pretty darn good. You know, she looks good on just watching her, just scouting her. Though she might have been in the starting lineup, but the contributions that she gave were great for them.
Yeah, Coach, can we talk about the last 3 minutes of the first half and then that first 3 minutes of the second half? Y'all had a run where you went from 1 down or 2 down to 7 or 8 up, and they never really got back within 7 again. How important are those last 3 minutes, first 3 minutes coming out?
Obviously they're really important because you take momentum into the locker room, and then you're coming back out. You know, you don't know what kind of momentum you're going to have. You know, I think we just struck first. And when we did, we found a way to keep the crowd out of it. Great crowd today. I think they were ready. They were loud when they went on a run because I think we were up by 7 in the first. Yep. You know, and that's what it is. It's a game of runs, and we were fortunate to have ours at crucial times where we can gain some momentum, you know, before halftime and then after.
Anything else for Coach Taylor? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.